All right, I'm on the phone with head football coach Mark Shields from the MDI Trojans. And, Coach, a great victory Friday night at Bucksport.
Yeah, Chris, no doubt about it. We talked about it all last week going into that game, that we knew we were going into a hornet's nest. Bucksport with all kinds of tradition, very well coached, know how to win big games. It was their home opener. We told the boys all week, listen, I know you don't have any tradition with this team. Years past, MDI and Bucksport, it was a huge rivalry, and it meant a lot to people in our community and their community. And sure enough, we get over there, and we come out and score, and they respond, and we score again, and they respond. They're just that type of team. They're just hard-nosed, tough kids, and sure enough, going into halftime, we're up a score, thinking, wow, we're in a dogfight here, and sure enough, they come right out in the third quarter and score again, get the two-point conversion, and take the lead. And I was really happy with our kids, the way they did respond in the third quarter. When Bucksport took that lead, I thought, oh boy, we could be in big trouble here. And then our guys got it rolling, and it really, offensively, we put up some big numbers, but really in the third quarter, I thought it was our defense that got it done for us, finally shutting them down and allowing us to get some drives going. And then we had a block punt by Drake James, and next thing you know, we had that momentum going into the fourth quarter, and then we were able to maintain it. So, yeah, big win. We did not obviously want to go 1-2. Heading into a tough week this week against undefeated Herman, and so happy with the victory, happy with the kids, the way they played, and excited for the win.
Somebody commented to me that, holy cow, talk about an offensive line. The offensive line really ripped holes in the Bucksport defense.
Yeah, they really did, and Bucksport was running a 6-3. They had 6 down linemen and 3 linebackers, and then they put 2 free safeties over the top of them. You got 9 guys in the box, and it goes to show you that we do have a pretty strong offensive line. We had guys. Gilbert Isaacs was a beast. He was just moving people all around, but all the guys were. They were stepping hard, and they were getting on their blocks and moving people, and it wasn't a big mystery what we were trying to do late in the game. They knew what we were trying to do, and we were still able to do it, and against a really good defense from Bucksport. So yeah, kudos to our offensive line, and those guys are only going to continue to get better the more they play, around one another, and really, we're a physical offensive line, but I was really impressed with the way we communicated to one another. Guys are pointing, I got this guy, you got that guy. We tell the guys all the time, it's okay to point and say, I got that guy. Even if they know, you're blocking them, that's okay. As long as
just make sure you block them, right? Then when you say that you got them.
Exactly. I'd prefer that rather than go up to the line, not say a word, and then block the wrong people, and then, we can't run the ball. So, yeah, those guys, they were huge Friday night.
Special teams. We talked about Drake James with that block. He came out of nowhere. That really was a huge block. But the other person we've got to give a shout out to is James McConomy, who hit every extra point that he attempted.
Yep, James was 3 for 3. James has been working extremely hard with the PAT kick. Works on it hard in practice. We've talked about it. We have each day we have a 10-minute individual time, and he utilizes all that time to work on his PAT kicks, and then during team, he'll kick as well, and he looked good in practice. And I think he's just feeling more confident and comfortable back there. And the kid hadn't played football. I don't know if he did play in the Acadian Football League or not, but he hasn't played since he's been here at the high school. And then all of a sudden he comes out as a senior, and you put him in a position like that when it's a high pressure situation, and you would expect the kid to maybe struggle early on, but you can tell he's much more confident and comfortable in the games now. And yeah, he looked great. Those kicks were, right through the middle, and had some good height on them. So real pleased about that. And yeah, Drake James, the huge punt block, which, sort of solidified the game, the win for us. We're starting to roll a little bit, and we kind of had them on their heels, and then, we get that, and then, able to roll, a little bit more, better field position, and that was big. You know, it's one of those things. It's like you work on these things sometimes in practice, and then you go out in the game, and people, you don't, perform well, and people are like, "Do they ever practice this stuff?" You know, and it's like you do, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But we were real pleased that the special teams came through Friday night.
The pass that you called for Andrew to throw to Abram Malloy, I don't think that there was a Bucksport player within 10 yards of Abram when he caught that ball.
Yeah, once again, with that spread offense, we're finding that we do have some guys open, and we have a quarterback this year that, he can get it to him. He's looking real good. He hit Abram Malloy on I think it was a Conrad boot, so it was a counter run play. We throw off of it, and Abram was pretty much to the sideline, and Andrew lobbed it in there. It was, like a 15, 20-yard pass, but, right on as far as his accuracy. And, he just continues to get better. And when he can't throw, he pulls it down and he runs, so he really is a threat. And as a defensive coordinator, he's a nightmare probably to contain, because you're thinking, okay, this guy now is running the ball, which we haven't had him running much of his career, and now he's throwing the ball much better. I think, we've talked about it before, but by the end of last year, he started throwing the ball really well, and that's, now spilled over to his senior year, and yeah, he's a major threat right now. He's a tough guy to stop.
We've got to give Coby Lee some love. My God, what a monster game. I had him for 288 yards on 21 carries, 4 touchdowns. He had an interception and would have had a 5th touchdown and been over 300 yards had that not been called back from offsetting personal fouls.
Yep, definitely. The guy, he was just lights out. Right from the get-go. Second play from the line of scrimmage that we ran a sweep, and he cut it inside, and he was gone. And, he's really making it look easy out there right now. You can tell that he's running at a different gear than everybody else, and the big thing with him is he's always been fast, but he worked extremely hard in the off-season this year in the weight room, and now he's fast and strong. So, early on in his career, he was younger, and a lot of times, the would-be tackle would come up and make the play on him and tackle him. Well, now he's breaking some of those tackles.
Well, he did a stiff arm on someone that was just, that was textbook.
Yep, he had a couple big stiff arms. Right, we were trying to get the ball outside around the end, and I was like, oh, boy, there's a tackler. We're going to get dropped for a loss, and he put that stiff arm out there, and once again, that's just a sign of strength. A weaker player can't do that, and he's able to do that this year. So, yeah, a huge game. And I told him, I tell him this all the time. I said, Colby, let's be honest. You roll, we're going to roll. Right. And he takes that stuff seriously and had a huge night.
Yeah, just unbelievable. So now you've got to turn the page quickly because Friday night, you're up against Herman, which is 3-0, and with heel points, this is a huge game for the MDI Trojans.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Here we are, week 4, and who would have thunk it? The Herman Hawks are 3-0 and playing good football right now, and they're a contender. Just like that, and they have a lot of kids playing football up there in Herman, and they have like 60 guys on their sideline, and they have good depth, and they have some really good athletes and some good guys up front. So they're a legitimate threat, and they're making waves in the conference. They're winning ball games that people probably didn't expect them to win, and here they are at the top of the heap in the conference. So yeah, we knew it was going to be this kind of year. I keep saying probably the toughest schedule that we've seen, and I think it is. And, most years you think, well, Herman, that's probably going to be a win, and, we'll rest some guys and that sort of stuff. Well, that's not going to happen this year. This team, they're legit. So,
you look at the next couple of games, you've got MCI next week, which is 2-1, and we're not looking past Herman, but Herman is 3-0. You've got Leavitt coming up, and then you've got Waterville. And, Waterville, which had been so down, is now 2-1 after getting pasted by Winslow. But let's face it, just about everybody gets pasted by Winslow.
Yeah, seems to be that way. Yeah, and then you throw, Nokomis on top of that, who just knocked off Oceanside in a barn burner, and they're 2-1. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, I talk to the kids, talk to the staff. It's like, boys, we got to take it a day at a time, a week at a time, just one opponent at a time, and focus on that opponent and prep as well as we possibly can for each opponent. And it's funny because it seems like every opponent's different. The other night we're worried about Bucksport and their pass game. Well, sure enough, what do they start hitting us with? They're running isolation plays right up the gut. We didn't practice a lot of that all week, and it really did hurt us. And then Mark Arnold made some great adjustments, and we were able to stop it, later in the game. But, so sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. But, now you got a Herman team that they want to spread you out. They go a lot of shotgun. Their quarterback can throw and run. And they have a speedy halfback that sits next to him. So I mean, and they're putting some major points on the board. So this is a high-powered offense that they're running up there. We saw some of their scores in the preseason. Like, whoa, they must have some speedy guys. And then you look at tape, and they are definitely fast. So yeah, this is going to be I think it's going to be another dogfight. I think it'll be a close football game, and we're going to have to execute to get a victory.
What do you work on this week, and tell us a little bit about the health of the team?
Yeah, the good news is the health of the team is getting better. Jacob Ritter, he played last Friday night selectively at guard, and he felt good. Billy Curley, he kind of got bumped up a little bit in the game.
Oh, he got pancaked. I mean, my God, I have not seen. I mean, this is against the heavyweight wrestling champion in the state of Maine, and David Gross, and he got pancaked.
Yeah, he's a big boy, and Billy got back on one of our run plays, and he met Mr. Gross in a bad way. And
I thought they were going to need a crane to get Billy out of the turf. I mean, God love Billy because he is a tough kid, but boy, did he got pancaked.
Yeah, that one was a cruncher. So we kept him out of the game for the rest of the game, and even though he seemed fine over there, Dan Varbert, our trainer, made the right decision, like, hey, let's not take any chances, keep him out. And sure enough, Dan evaluated him this past weekend, and he's good to go. So he's coming back, and Croy Albee, we're being smart about him. I think he still has some discomfort in that ankle and his Achilles, and I think we just want to be smart about it. And, once again, Dan Varbert will run him through some tests this week, and, he's going to be day-to-day still. And, once again, it's a long season. I know it's hard for him, though. It's a senior year, and he's probably thinking, well, there's another game gone. And you don't want to lose any games, especially your senior year. But, got to be smart about it. And, we'll see where he's at. I mean, if Dan Varbert clears into play, then he might get some reps Friday night. But once again, if Dan doesn't feel like he's ready, then we'll sit him. But overall, I think our health is pretty good right now.
You've got this is also a game that's going to be a fundraiser for hurricane relief.
Yeah, right. So that's good. So we're really hoping we get a big crowd out there, and they're passing.
So for a minimum of $5 donation, you can have your name announced and run out through the Trojan Tunnel, where there are going to be 50-some cheerleaders forming that tunnel.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And, I have some family that live in Florida, and thank goodness their home did survive the hurricane, but, it took its bumps and bruises for sure. But there's people dealing with a lot worse. I mean, you see the images on TV, and it's just devastating. So, yeah, anybody that can come out and give to that would be awesome.
All right, Coach. I guess that's what we said to the fans. But anything you want to add?
Yeah, just thanks. Once again for your continued support. We had a nice crowd over there at Bucksport. They were good and loud, and we needed it because it was kind of us against the world over there. And we're really hoping Friday night, right now, once again, you can believe Todd Simcox.
Clear, lows in the lower 50s.
It looks like it's going to be decent, I think. Football weather. So we're hoping that we can get a big crowd down here because we got a real tough team coming to town in the Herman Hawks.
All right, Coach. Best of luck. We'll talk on Friday.
All right, thanks, Dress. All right, thanks, Dress. All right, thanks.